Welcome to the Ridge Trail's virtual dedication of the Berryessa to the Berryessa BART to Sierra Vista Ridge Trail. I am Liz Westbrook, the Trail Program Director for the Bay Area Ridge Trail Council, and I will be facilitating today's virtual dedication. Please add any questions that you have throughout the event to the Q&A box, and we will be responding after the event and sharing with all the participants. Most importantly, bear with us all through any technical issues today as we continue to adjust to our new Zoom normal. Today's agenda, we will have Jana McBride, the Ridge Trail's Executive Director, kicking off the dedication with a welcome and providing a Ridge Trail overview. Then it'll come back to me to talk about today's dedication along the Penitencia Creek Trail. And then we will be having a conversation with three of our project partners, Eve Zudi from the City of San Jose, Lauren Ledbetter, and Andrea from VTA, and Andrea McKenzie from OSA. Finally, Mike Flauher, director for OSA, will be cutting the ribbon on site in a pre-recorded video. And I will now hand it over to Janet for an overview.
Great, thank you so much. Well, hello and welcome Ridge Trail friends. And a special shout out to our project partners, to the Open Space Authority, the Valley Transportation Authority, the VTA, the City of San Jose, and also the State Coastal Conservancy. We are so glad that all of you could join us. And first off, I want to reflect that in this really challenging time that we find ourselves, we face health and economic crises and calls for racial justice and greater equity. And I just know that we share a feeling that trails and greenways have so much to offer, and that they're more important now than ever before. So the benefits then include transportation, recreation, connecting communities, and a chance to really enjoy and experience nature. We need and crave these like never before. And the new trail that we're dedicating delivers all these features in abundance. So today is momentous. In addition to being the first ever virtual Ridge Trail dedication, it's the first time the Ridge Trail intersects directly with a BART station. And as all of you know, the extension of BART into San Jose is something that so many have been eagerly awaiting and anticipating for many, many years and for many, many reasons. But we're thrilled in particular about the option that you now have. You can travel from anywhere in the BART system. You can step off a train at the brand new Berryessa BART station, and you can hop directly right onto the Ridge Trail and follow it on an adventure. So within 5 miles along the Penitencia Creek Trail, you can visit the beautiful and historic Alum Rock Park. And then you can climb another couple of miles and visit the beautiful jaw-dropping Sierra Vista open space via the Bacardo Trail. So once you're in Sierra Vista open space, you will be in true wild open space and be able to experience jaw-dropping views and vistas. So since we can't be there in person, what we wanted to do right now is go together on a virtual tour. hopefully that whet your appetite. And as all of you know, this is part of a bigger vision. The Ridge Trail has a bold and audacious mission to create a 550-mile connected hiking, biking, and riding trail on the ridges surrounding the bay. It will reach from Calistoga in the north all the way south of Gilroy in the south, and it will link ridgelines, parks, and communities in between. So today, 383 miles of Ridge Trail are complete. That's about 2/3 of the way towards our goal, and we're working diligently to connect up the full loop. So it's a really big vision and a really big region. So this trail that we're dedicating today, it's also part of a bigger and exciting vision in the South Bay. We've talked about how this is a terrific transit to trail connection, and that is absolutely true. It absolutely is that. But the reverse is also true. It's also a terrific trail to transit connection, taking you from neighborhoods to BART and to everywhere that BART runs, and to countless other destinations as well. So it is a key link in a really robust and growing South Bay Trail network that is evolving to connect communities and neighborhoods via a network made up of the regional Bay Trail, Ridge Trail, and all the creek trails that serve as spokes in between them. So the trail opportunities today are fantastic, but there's more to come on the Ridge Trail, and so stay tuned. And with that, I'd like to hand it back over to Liz.
Great, thank you, Janet. And at this moment, before we go any further, we would like to pause and acknowledge that the Berryessa BART and Ridge Trails on or near of the Ohlone, Tamian, and Amah-Mutsun tribal bands who trace their ancestry through the Bay region. We remember their connection to this region, especially the creeks and rivers in the Penitencia Creek, and give thanks for the opportunity to live, work, hike, bike, and ride in their traditional homeland. We recognize the impact that colonization by the Spanish and Americans have had on their lands and the Native peoples. We honor the indigenous people living today as well as their ancestors, and we deeply respect their stewardship and connection to the land. Part of this project includes a contemplative garden as a way to pause and reflect while you're on the trail. Today, we're dedicating 2 Ridge Trail sections along the Penitencia Creek Trail, totaling 3/4 of a mile. The first section is between the new BART station and the King Road, and the second is closer to the Alum Rock Park entrance. Closing these 2 gaps create an almost 11-mile continuous stretch from the BART station all the way to a picnic table at the current end trail in Sierra Vista Open Space Preserve, allowing for endless combinations of hikes and bikes along the alignment. This project is important to me personally because for the past 7 years, I've lived within 2 blocks of the 19th Street BART station in downtown Oakland. This project was also one of my first that I worked on when I started at the Ridge Trail 3 years ago. The idea that the Ridge Trail, an often more remote trail, is now accessible to BART that connects 5 Bay Area counties is so inspiring for the long-term vision of BART and the Ridge Trail. Just stepping onto the Berryessa platform, you have a 360-degree view of the ridge lines and the Ridge Trail locations, including Mount Amanum, the highest peak on the Ridge Trail, Monument and Mission Peaks, Sierra Vista, and Joseph Grant County Park, with Mount Hamilton peeking behind. I have 2 quotes that I'd like to share with you today. The first is from Rue Mapp, the founder of Outdoor Afro, who said recently in an interview, "Nature is not only in these hallowed national parks. It is right in your own neighborhood. The birds are going to sing no matter how much money is in your bank account, and that nature is truly an equalizer." And the other is from Nuria Fernandez, the CEO and general manager of VTA, who stated at the Berryessa BART station opening, that this project provides new pathways for mobility, which are more important than ever. She said that public transportation is the great equalizer. We are so lucky today to celebrate both nature and public transportation and a location where they join to increase equitable access to trails, parks, and open spaces. So, projects like these take many years, and in this case, over a decade. Partners like VTA and the City of San Jose worked tirelessly with BART and other regulatory bodies, station, and the trail. The Ridge Trail worked with partners as well, including the Santa Clara Valley Open Space Authority through their Urban Open Space Grant to add signs at the trailhead, both wayfinding and interpretive, as well as printed brochures to increase messaging for the residents and riders at the stations. The brochures allow for self-guided, curated adventures in both Spanish and English. Our website has additional trail maps, curated adventures, and links to our trail apps, or our trail app, Outer Spill, to support your adventures. We are so excited about the translation of this brochure into Spanish. It's our first and will not be our last. And want to thank the City of San Jose for helping with this translation. So some highlights along the way. You got to see quick snaps of them in the video, but this 11-mile stretch allows hikers and bikers to create your own adventures of varying lengths. The highlights include the Penitencia Creek Gardens and Parks that includes interpretive signs about the Ohlone and Spanish colonial history. There's the Penitencia Light Rail Station along the way, the Berryessa Community Center and Wildlife Center of Silicon Valley. And when you get to Alum Rock Park, there are large oak trees and historic grottos to explore and provides shade from the sun. Perched above Alum Rock is Sierra Vista Open Space Preserve in the eastern foothills of the Diablo Range, whose serpentine outcroppings and native grasslands are home to a number of protected species, including the red-legged frog, tiger salamander, and burrowing owls. We are so excited today to have 3 partners who will be joining us to talk. First, we will start with Lauren. Lauren Ledbetter is joining us from Valley Transit Authority. She is a transportation planner and for almost 7 years has been VTA's Bicycle and Pedestrian Program Manager, where she helps VTA meet its vision of providing solutions that move Silicon Valley. Hello, Lauren, and thank you for joining us today. Would you tell us more about VTA and the involvement in this project and any unique ways that they address this transit to trail connection?
Sure, I can go ahead and do that. First of all, can you hear me okay? Good, all right, great. Thanks for that nice introduction. It really is my honor to be here. You mentioned what I do. I've been managing the Bicycle and Pedestrian Program at VTA for several years now, and I really love what I do. I think it's important having someplace safe and comfortable to walk and bike makes a difference to everyone. VTA itself, we're not just the transit agency for Santa Clara County, we also are the transportation planning agency. And in that role, we work closely with cities throughout the county to fund, design, build bike lanes, sidewalks, bridges, trails, and transportation services. And of course, we build and operate the public transit system, connecting people from Gilroy to San Jose, from Milpitas to Palo Alto. And we were talking about essential services and the great equalizer. And yes, what our general manager and CEO said is correct. Public transit is the great equalizer. Through our work, we strive to improve people's lives, regardless of race, economic standing, or physical ability. The Berryessa extension of BART is a $2.4 billion investment in the community. I'm reminded of a conversation I had with a colleague who works at VTA. He was eagerly anticipating the opening of Berryessa BART. He has a physical disability and he relies on others, including our paratransit services, to get where he needs to go. but he also has an electric tricycle that allows him to get to places on his own. Now that the Berryessa BART station is open, his ability to get places independently has expanded tremendously. He can bike on the safe, comfortable bikeways and the trails to get to the station. He can park his trike in our secure bicycle station, get on BART, and with the connections to the Oakland and the San Francisco airport, he can literally travel anywhere in the world. You were talking about adventures. I mean, think about those adventures that he can now have independently. And that's just one story. And the reason why we're here today is not just because of the BART transit, it's also because it's more than a transit project. So we invested in habitat restoration, enhanced roadways and flood control work, and of course built the Penitencia Creek Trail extension. We partnered with the city of San Jose and Valley Water on flood control work and restoration, and then built the trail gap. And we really think these things enhance the quality of life for generations to come. So I wanted to point out a few things about the station. We have beautiful bike and pedestrian paths on the station. We have bike parking for more than 200 bikes, including a secure bike room and time of use lockers. They're operated by bikelink.org, where you can go get a card and register online to rent the lockers. And I know you wanted me to talk a bit about the ways that we are addressing the transit to trail connection. I think what really sets us apart here is the strong partnership and the collaboration that we have with our partner agencies. We worked very closely with Eve Zudi and with the city of San Jose and other partner agencies to make sure what we built integrates seamlessly into the trail network that's out there already. You already mentioned some of the elements, such as a contemplative garden. It's also fully integrated into the station layout. It's very easy when you get on the Penitencia Creek Trail to come over and just see where the station is and very easily access the station. It's a direct connection to the bike parking. And we also have really easy crossings when you, at King Road, we've installed a new signal so that people on the trail can just cross King Road easily. And there's also a signal on the other side of the trail to connect across the roadways that access the BART station. So I wanted to just close briefly with a little story. 3 days after BART opened in our county, I grabbed our masks and I took my 2 boys who were in elementary school to the Milpitas BART station. We wanted to ride the train. We went 1 stop south to the Berryessa BART station, and our final destination was to walk on the Penitencia Creek Trail. It's a short connection. It's about a 5-minute walk to get on the trail, but I was so surprised at how as soon as we stepped onto the trail, we were immersed in nature. It was a hot, sunny day. There were butterflies all around us. We could smell the sweetgrass and the eucalyptus trees, and it was a really small moment of peace and joy, but it was one that I really appreciated given all the uncertainty and stress and confusion of this time. So that really is the experience that I think we were aiming for when we worked with the city and the water district to build the trail connection. And it's our hope that as people go about their everyday commute, or if they're taking BART to get to the Ridge Trail, we hope that we've added something better for make it a pleasant experience.
Thank you, Lauren. That's great. And are there, how is VTA, just one quick follow-up, how is VTA addressing the trail connection to the future, trail connections to the future?
To the future BART
phases
stations?
Of BART. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So we are in the process of designing 4 new BART stations that will be 3 stations in San Jose. I'll read them out here. 1 at 28th Street in Little Portugal, 1 in downtown San Jose, Diridon Station, and then the end of service in Santa Clara. And we're taking the same approach that we did with this one, where it's not just a transit project. It also will provide better connections to the community and really serve as a community enhancement. So As we design the layouts of the station, we're considering not just how BART's going to get in there and not how they're going to drive to there, but we're also looking at how people can walk and bike and arrive on bus to get to the BART stations. We're also supporting some key connections, and some of the trails that we're making sure we integrate into our planning are the Five Wounds Trail at the 28th Street Little Portugal Station, the Los Gatos Creek Trail and Guadalupe River Trail at the Diridon Station. And then expanding on the recently completed pedestrian undercrossing at Santa Clara Caltrain that we built, and ensuring that there's a seamless connection for people who want to go from one side of the tracks to the other.
Great, thank you so much. And Five Wounds Trail is an alternate ridge trail route, so we have been following that closely and really appreciate you working to connect that to the future. Then I think the very next phase of BART. So thank you, Lauren, so much for the background on the transit and the resources and the personal stories, as well as the stories of your colleagues that you shared on this important alternative transportation and transit link in San Jose. All right, and it looks like Eve Zudi has joined us. Eve, are you there?
I am here. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Eve. Great to hear you. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, let me introduce you. So we will be speaking, or now we're speaking with Eve Zudi. He is the division manager for the City of San Jose's Park and Recreation Department. He has worked tirelessly for the San Jose's Trail Network for over 20 years, including 2 new sections that we are dedicating today. Hi, Eve, and he is joining us from the road, so we really appreciate you joining us. And tell us more about, we'd love to hear more about your experience building this Penitencia Creek Trail section.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thanks for the Bay Area Ridge to mark and celebrate accomplishments. We started to work on this project, the City of San Jose, a number of years ago, and I'm going to guess 6 or 7, but time flies in the world. We've got a different kind of clock. And we worked closely with the VTA, the city's planning department, and the Department of Transportation. And we were successful in getting a grant that was supportive of this project, and not just the traditional trail work, but also the traffic signal improvements that were needed so that this trail could cross over King Road in a safer manner and extend to a portion of the trail we had built 15 years earlier. So it's exciting to see this project open, because it's not only a new trail, but it drops you directly into a BART station, which I think is a big sign of the interconnectivity of our trail network and the importance that we play in the active transportation world. Great,
thank you, Eve. And so what was required to deliver this one?
This one was, a lot of the same complexities we deal with on the projects along creeks and rivers. This is a very sensitive corridor, so we have to be very careful that we don't damage the environment and we mitigate for any harm we might have to cause. But we worked with regulatory agencies, we worked with the water district. Part of the work the district does out here is flood protection and management of the channel. So we engineered our trail so that they can work in the area with no harm to the trail. And we coordinated very closely with the VTA to make sure that this was always going to be a great and preferred way to get to the station. So a lot of work, a lot of grant writing, a lot of project management, and a very collaborative environment. We put the trail first and foremost. It wasn't the path leading to the station, it was part of the station. It was just as important a design effort as the entire station, which turned out beautifully.
Thank you. And there are some additional features that you guys added. Can you tell us about those too?
Yeah. This is always the fun part of a project. So in the San Jose Trail Network, we're developing a 100-mile network around the city. It's composed of 40 different trail systems, and Penitencia Creek is one of them. And what we do with every trail system is seek to give it its own unique character. And Penitencia Creek is unique by its environment and its connectivity. But we also want to have our gateways, our entryways into the trails, say welcome to users and give a certain style and character to that particular trail experience. So as you leave the BART station and you cross Berryessa Station Way, you'll notice a couple things. One is that the intersection is actually listed there. It's a tabletop intersection. So you're not stepping down a curb, you're not walking off a ramp, you're really seamlessly walking from a plaza through a roadway and onto the trail, all at the same elevation. And that creates a subtle but meaningful change in the urban environment where the pedestrian or the cyclist are the preferred mode. They can walk through there without any changes in elevation rather than the car having that preference. And with that raised elevation, it also causes traffic to slow through the area. So as you walk onto the trail, you're going to notice custom fencing that has a sinuous look to it, which recalls the water flows. You'll see the names of the BTA, San Jose, and importantly, the Bay Area Ridge Trail on that gateway structure. And that cut will be there to reference the partnership that has occurred here. There'll be decorative paving, and if you look carefully at the decorative paving, you'll see steel images of the trout that populate this. It's one of the best environments in the South Bay for that species, and so that recalls that. You'll walk along the trail. You'll see our standard sign package, which is unique to San Jose, offering guidance and warning signs and identity. Reflective striping, so if you're leaving the BART station into the evening hours and you've got a good bike light, you can follow that line along the trail. And then as you approach King Road, you'll see more gateways following a similar style, stone-covered columns with seating, so you could wait there to meet friends for either a trip on BART to see the Bay Area or a trip on the Bay Ridge Trail to visit all the wildlife and adventures that await. So that's part of the experience. And we also added gateways then on the east side of King Road, so it is visually clear to people that there's more to see as they continue walking eastward.
Great, thank you so much. And how does this fit into the the broader San Jose Trail Network?
It is our latest addition to this network. Our strategic plan says we're committed to building out this 100-mile trail network. The city's general plan is unique in that it has a transportation chapter, a parks chapter, and there's a trail chapter nested in between because we've got this dual role of recreation and extra transportation. So adding on to the Penitencia Creek Trail both builds the size of that trail system, but adds to the trail network, and its interconnection to BART makes it really consistent and meaningful in terms of meeting the general plan goals of a fully integrated trail network that's equitably distributed across the city.
Great. Oh, that was the last slide, sorry. Great, and so are there any other projects underway, any other Ridge Trail projects underway within San Jose?
Yeah, there are. As you'd mentioned to Lauren, we're proud that the Bay Area Ridge Trail has put its brand onto the Future 5 Women's Trail Alignment, and we've secured a grant recently. So we're going to start doing some serious studies and investigations out there to help us further define the scopes for future planning, design, and environmental work, and ultimately construction. So that's a project that's got some money. It's starting up here. We've got 3 miles of the Coyote Creek Trail that is designated as part of the Ridge Trail, starting at William Street and Magley Park, all the way to Tully Road, where the trail currently picks up and goes up to Morgan Hill. That project is in 3 phases, with construction starting on the first phase through Tully Park in about 2 to 3 months, and then in about 4 to 5 months from William Street to Story. So there'll be a lot more Bay Ridge Trail occurring there. And then closer to home here at the BART station, we're working closely with the developer who's working on the urban village that will frame and support activity there at the station, as well as with the water district that's doing flood protection projects in the area. So we're, like all trail projects, we're doing this balancing act to make sure that the project meets flood control objectives, fits into an urban environment, protects the natural environment, and provides as much Class 1 bikeway trail access as we can through the area. And our goal is to have you follow the Penitencia Creek Trail through the BART station, or you can choose to continue your route along Penitencia Creek westward until you hit the confluence with Coyote Creek, and follow existing sections of the Coyote Creek Trail that we've recently built, or those that we're actually wrapping up design on to move forward on. So lots more work in that area.
Great, thank you, Eve. I always love the updates. And so what will surprise our trail visitors when they visit this trail system? What are some of the surprises?
As you visit the trail, I think you're going to be surprised that you're in the middle of the 10th largest city in the country. The Penitencia Creek, absolutely beautiful. It's got very mature, beautiful native California oak trees. Native sycamore trees, and they shade the creek. The channel itself is full of large cobblestones. It's just absolutely picturesque, and I think people should go out there and enjoy that. As they make their way east from the BART station and follow the Penitencia Creek Trail, we're still developing it, but there's continuity there that you can walk and bike along this trail system. And as you do, you'll hit a county park with pathways and landscaped gardens. You'll see ponds between Piedmont and Noble. There's percolation ponds that are operated by the Water District, and through a partnership with them, you can walk around those ponds and cross bridges to get through that area. And then from Noble to Durrell Drive, you'll see our first development of a boardwalk trail, which is part of the Bay Area Ridge Trail, where you span these boardwalk structures so we protect those California native sycamores from harm. And as you get to Durrell Avenue, you're in Alum Rock Park, the oldest civic park in California. It's founded in 1872, where the Penitencia Creek Trail continues through a more dense natural environment, where there's another 13 miles of trails, connectivity to additional Bay Area Ridge Trail in the area, and connectivity to the Open Space Authority lands through the area. So it's a rich area for trails and a variety of experiences, and you can get there by BART, and you do it on the Bay Area Ridge Trail, and you do it because San Jose, BTA, and Bay Area Ridge Trail worked really hard to do this.
Great, thank you, Eve. I really appreciate you joining us and telling us more about the project and all the thought that went into the details of building a project like this, and for your continued support of the Ridge Trail and all the upcoming Coyote Creek 5 Wounds work that we will all be celebrating soon as the planning, design, and construction gets underway. So, and thank you for the creation of a world-class trail system in San Jose. It's great to hear from you.
Thank you, Liz. It's been a pleasure, and congratulations to everyone, and hope everyone celebrates and enjoys it as much as possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, next up is Andrea McKenzie. Andrea is the General Manager of the Santa Clara Valley Open Space Authority, which she has led for almost 10 years. She is the past fellow of the National Conservation Leadership Institute, serves on the board of Together Bay Area, serves on Spur San Jose's policy board, and is the editorial advisor to Bay Nature magazine. In 2016, Andrea was named Bay Nature magazine's local conservation hero, and in San Francisco, and this year was recently named the 100 Women of Influence Silicon Valley Business Journal. Hi, Andrea. Thank you so much for joining us and sporting your Ridge Trail t-shirt in Yosemite. All right.
Liz.
Hello. Great. So Andrea, would you tell us a little bit more about OSA, all the listeners here?
Sure. Well, hello, everyone. First, Liz, thank you so much. Janet, great to see you. Congratulations to the Bay Area Ridge Trail Council for today's virtual dedication. And hello to all the supporters of transit, trails, and open space who are with us today. I also want to give a shout out to Eve and to Lauren and say to my colleagues, thank you for your excellent work on this project. It really does take leadership to get these things done. For those of you who aren't familiar with us, the Santa Clara Valley Open Space Authority is a special district. We're a public land conservation agency created 27 years ago to protect open space, natural areas, and agricultural lands. And we also connect people to nature through an interconnected system of open space preserves that are open to the public free of charge, 365 days a year, sunrise to sunset. We've protected over 30,000 acres of open space to date and established 26 miles of trail with 30 more miles to be completed in the next decade. I'm also very proud to say that we operate a popular urban grants program that invests in our urban parks, trails, urban farms, and community gardens, and also environmental education programs so that we can have a high quality of life in our urban communities. And a big emphasis of this is areas that are underserved and have limited access to parks, trails, and preserves. And so since our founding in 1993, we've given out over $11 million in urban grants for these types of projects and programs.
Great, thank you, Andrea. And that is we are a lucky recipient of that. Thank you. So I am curious, how does this specific, transit to trail connection meet some of those goals of the urban open space program?
Sure. Well, as part of that urban grants program, we were very pleased in 2016 to provide an award to the Bay Area Ridge Trail Council for this Berryessa BART station. Has a long name of this project, the Transit to Trails Interpretive and Wayfinding Project. But this project that starts at Berryessa BART will, as we've heard, connect urban populations of San Jose, nearby cities like Milpitas, Fremont, Santa Clara County as a whole, and even as Janet pointed out, across the entire Bay Area, the connectivity of the full Bay Area, to bring them to parks and open space in the Diablo Range, where we have gems like Alum Rock Park, where Eve just said we have the oldest municipal park in California, which I think many in the Bay Area don't know about. And then we have this wonderful complex of park and open space linking Alum Rock Park and Sierra Vista Open Space together, which is operated by the Open Space Authority. And as you started today, you had some images of Sierra Vista Open Space Preserve up in the East San Jose foothills. And it's one of our most popular open space destinations. And now this will be so much more accessible to thousands more across the Bay Area. I don't know if you could tell from the map there, but Sierra Vista wraps around, gives a huge hug to Alum Rock Park, and is a significant part of the Penitencia Creek watershed. And if you've not spent time there, I highly recommend it. It's a beautiful wild place. We've got a lot of wild species there, including American badger, burrowing owl, and mountain lion. And it's also one of the top spots for views and sunsets in the Bay Area. So this 1,600 acres of Sierra Vista combined with 600 acres of Alum Rock Park, you've got over 2,300 acres of beautiful watershed, 10 miles of hiking trails, including a 1.2 mile loop called Aquila Loop Trail, which is really great for beginning hikers and children. And it was here that we designated and dedicated our staging area and the Bay Area Ridge Trail back in 2011. And probably much to the chagrin of some of our neighbors who feel like it's a little bit too popular, it's beloved now by so many across the Bay Area.
Thank you. Yeah, it really is a spectacular spot, and amazing that it's so close to the city and now so close to transit. Do you have any other Ridge Trail related projects that you're working on with your agency?
Liz, before I touch on other projects, something I've neglected to mention, and it was touched on a little bit by some of your other guests today. In many ways, what we're celebrating today is pretty groundbreaking. And I think groundbreaking in the way that we're providing more equitable access to nature. And it's really pretty amazing that we're doing it at a BART station that is proximate to East San Jose neighborhoods. And so in many ways, this is an underserved area for access to parks and open space. And so to know that we have new opportunities for racially and culturally diverse communities to access green space is just amazing. And that's one of the main reasons why we're so excited to provide the urban grant to the Bay Area Ridge Trail. And you asked me to mention that it would be our hope post-COVID that we could provide a shuttle from the Berryessa BART station to Sierra Vista. You could take it one way, you could take it two ways, because it's quite a trek to get from Berryessa BART out to that picnic spot you were just showing, Liz, on the map. So if you don't even want to do it one way, a shuttle might be a great way to do it. So I don't know, Lauren, there might be a partnership there with VTA. We'll need to talk about that.
My transit planners.
Yeah. But in terms of other projects, you know, like other open space districts around the Bay Area, we've been a longtime partner and fan of the Bay Area Ridge Trail Council. And so we're excited that we're going to be working on a couple of big projects coming up with you. The first one I'll mention is Coyote Ridge Open Space Preserve. This is another wilderness area right there within touch of the city of San Jose. It's an 1,800-acre former rocket testing defense site that's undergoing a radical rewilding into natural open space, beginning with the ridge itself. And it's home to many endangered species. And our iconic bay checker spot butterfly has a sizable Thule elk population and some of the best views of the Diablo Range and the Santa Cruz Mountains that you can find. In 2021, we'll open this preserve with 3 new miles of Bay Area Ridge Trail with our phase 1 project. So you can get off the Bailey exit off of 101, hang a left, go over the freeway, right into the Malik Road staging area and get on the trail. And I know I'm a little biased, but I think once that's open, that is going to be one of the most popular Bay Area Ridge Trail segments in the entire Bay Area. And then the second project that's in the works, and in case you hadn't heard, there was a landmark conservation deal that came together in November 2019 called Coyote Valley. And that was a partnership between the Authority, Peninsula Open Space Trust, and the city of San Jose that preserved close to 1,000 acres of North Coyote Valley for wildlife, water, and people. And it's connecting people to also a really incredibly rich natural and cultural landscape. As we begin master planning there, we have an unparalleled opportunity to create trail connections, and we're working closely with the Ridge Trail on this. It's going to be quite something to have a trail across a rare undeveloped valley floor in the San Francisco Bay Area, connecting Coyote Ridge across the valley floor over to Santa Teresa County Park and Calero County Park. Just so happens this is also a last chance landscape for wildlife, so we'll be sharing those linkages with our four-legged friends. So master planning gets underway this year, and we're hoping, and we'd love to work with you on this, to spawn some innovative low carbon alternatives to connect people to this amazing protected landscape. And another little elbow shout out to Lauren there. The VTA station at Santa Teresa is just a stone's throw from Coyote Valley. Wouldn't it be amazing if we could have the public accessing Coyote Valley by bike and shuttle and so on through transit at Santa Teresa VTA station? So that might be our next transit to trail project, Liz and Janet.
Sounds
and Lauren. And so Janet, Liz, Ridge Trail Board and staff, congratulations again on this project, and thanks for our fruitful partnership over the years. I'm really looking forward to getting my family out, taking Berryessa BART, getting off there and hiking, huffing it all the way to the end of the trail at Sierra Vista and walking my talk. So thanks a lot, and thanks for having me today.
Thank you so much, Andrea, for OSA's leadership in conservation and trails in Santa Clara Valley and your agency's work on the landscape scale, natural resource, wildlife, and regional trail connections. And I didn't want to give it away at the beginning, but OSA really does, you know, walk the walk by opening up these protected landscapes as quickly as possible through docent-led outings. I believe that when you protected the North Coyote Valley Conservation Area, you had docent-led outings within a week. I mean, it's an incredible undertaking, and is a great way to get people out before they're ready for broader public access. And I really, it's something that we show other partner agencies that how that works and how that can continue to support the Ridge Trail connections while they're in the planning and design phases. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, great. Well, we are excited to come to a point in the dedication where we get to do the ribbon cutting. So today we have Mike Flaher, a former Ridge Trail board member and District 2 OSA director, as well as a South Bay Trail Advocacy Group chair who he's served for, advocating for trails in the South Bay for many, many years. And most importantly, he is a neighbor to the Penitencia Creek Trail. So he has been working for over a decade to make community connections, creating bridges between the neighborhoods and the businesses and the community, the parks, open space advocates, and elected officials to help get the section that we're looking at built. And so he was out with us about a week ago, recording this ahead of time, and we're so excited to do the ribbon cutting. So please join us in hearing Mike's remarks, and then applaud with us all as we cut the ribbon today.
Hi, I'm Mike Flaher, and we're standing at the trailhead in the Berryessa BART station. This is a place where the Ridge Trail passes through the BART station, one of the few places anywhere in the Bay Area that we're this closely linked to transportation. From here, you'll be able to not only go up to Alum Rock Park, one of the oldest municipal parks in the state of California, but also to the Sierra Vista open space. This area is going to allow you to come from virtually anywhere in the Bay Area to here to enjoy the adventures along the Penitencia Creek Trail, and you'll be able to do it without a car. So if you'd like to come out and see us and come to Penitencia Creek via BART, we really encourage you to come here.
Yay! Thank you. So that is, we're so excited. Thank you, Mike, for marking this important milestone and being out on the trail, showing us another glimpse of it today, even though we can't be there together. And that concludes our dedication today. It's your turn to get out on the trail, and you can enter to win a Ridge Trail bandana by visiting the trail, taking a photo or video, and posting it and tagging it. I am so grateful to our speakers, Lauren, Eve, Andrea, for joining us today. And also I'd like to acknowledge all the project partners. So the Measure Q Urban Open Space Grant Program by the Open Space Authority, San Jose's Park Recreation and Neighborhood Services Department, the Coastal Conservancy, who's been an important supporter for the Ridge Trail since its inception, and a Valley Transit Authority. I'd also like to give a shout out to our dedicated Ridge Trail members and supporters who with their generous gifts make all this work. I also saw that Bern Smith had signed up to join us today from DC, and he is a former Ridge Trail staff director, and he also worked on this project for more than a decade and many other miles of Ridge Trail. So thank you, Bern, for all the work you did and for joining us today. So you can find out about some additional virtual events that we will be having. The San Francisco Twin Peaks is our next dedication that we'll be doing sometime in August, and then we have some other virtual events, including a birding event on the Carquinez Strait Scenic Loop Trail. Sign up for our monthly newsletter, join as a member on our website, and thank you again for joining us. Happy trails, and we hope to see you out there.